that warrant a winning SMS.
You just sample one and
only one,
win.
so not yet. So Collins, I was trying to help you, but
decide later.
We'll decide later. Good. And one other one here, Viva Africa, thank you for your excellent show. The African theme can really be felt all over the studio. Kwanza around the jerseys, na hiyo whip ya Wahiga Mwaura. Now, whip, ni. So, you know, guys, it's not a whip. I think it has a different name. But nevertheless, it does the job of whipping if anyone in studio gets out of line. Nevertheless, I'm joined by Tatenda Chikwekwe. I will talk a bit about Group A, the matches that took place on Saturday. Equatorial Guinea, the host, taking on Congo. How had you played out that match in your mind? Before you go into deep analysis, when you heard that those are the two, that's the beginning match, what would have been your take?
Of course, I didn't expect it to be a spectacular match, but there's much more expectation on Equatorial Guinea because they're the hosts. So you expect them to have, extra impetus and the support, they have a home support, and there's been a lot of ticket giveaways.
Yes, by the president.
So there's obvious an automatic expectation upon Equatorial Guinea. They're a decent outfit, not as much a big talent assemble, but obviously,
What would you say when you realize that their coach, Esteban Becker, was given 3 weeks or a very short period to train his team? In fact, he says actual training days were 11. For you, having followed football, 11 days, is that good enough to assemble a winning squad?
Well, it's a typical African story. The organization around this has been atrocious. Nothing, more than atrocious. That's what it's been. So it's been tragic, it's sad, but the game has to go on. But of course, that's something that's going to determine, the winning mentality and everything that they're going to bring to the match.
There's something you mentioned about the typical African story. Now, this is a topic we'll be discussing later, not in this show, but in another Viva Africa episode. But Africa Cup of Nations as a tournament, has its value been watered over the years? Are you feeling the energy that many would have felt when it was Viva Brazil, for example, or another big tournament?
I mean, more than soccer being a sport that's loved by people, it's an industry. So I don't know if the African market brings as much revenue into the soccer world. I mean, that's one determining factor. There are many other things, but one thing that would come to my mind is I don't think the world, in terms of the economic value of a tournament like that, but which is very sad, unfortunate, and unfair. I don't want to blame any other powers, but of course that's
we actually had a scenario on Saturday, English Premier League taking place at the same time as the Africa Cup of Nations, and we had some people upstairs. I'm not going to mention their names except for Philip Mushiri from Radio Citizen. They were watching the Manchester United match on the computer while the TV above them had on the Africa Cup of Nations.
That's treasonous. That's one of the problems. It's we Africans ourselves, we're actually not. We're preferring the English Premier League, which is sad. We should be celebrating our own domestic, competitions, tournaments, and players. So this is one of the opportunities. So the players themselves are aware of the regard that we have towards such tournaments. So
we need to do better. We need to do better. Definitely. I don't know if we can look at the highlights of the Burkina Faso game. Of course, you watched that match. What's your take on that? 2-0. Burkina Faso, some would have considered them favorites in that group. I think I liked them, but now I'm wondering if I made a wrong decision to support them.
Yeah, I think Gabon was definitely going to win. Aubameyang is a big player, prolific striker, one of the fastest strikers in Europe, playing at Borussia Dortmund, and is delivered. He's a big game player and is delivered before. So I think the stakes were always against Burkina Faso. They were obvious underdogs going into the match.
So you expect Gabon to get out of group? Okay, first of all, Group A, who's getting out?
Gabon.
Not getting out losing, but getting out
proceeding
to the next
round.
stage. Exactly.
Obviously, I'll put my life savings on Gabon to proceed out of...
What's your life savings? How much?
How much are my life savings? I don't want to say how much I'm worth on national television. I could be investigated, but I would put all the 10,000 shillings, my life savings, on it to
on Gabon. So your money's
definitely.
on Gabon.
Yes.
All right. Well, of course, what I'm getting from Tatenda is that the tournament may not have brought in terms of energy and fervor and buzz into as we expected, but nevertheless it's still good football to watch. And wherever Africans congregate in large numbers, there is always plenty to watch and plenty to talk about. Now we have some scenes from the different stadiums this past weekend, and you need to take a look at this next video and watch how Africans make their ways to the stadiums, celebrate, and of course leave after that. Enjoy.
quite some great energy there. You're watching Viva Africa. Thank you so much for keeping the conversation going, and we'd like to sample some of your social media messages coming through now on Twitter. Let's see what you're telling us, as some of you are really asking for our jerseys. At Gor Semelango 1 says, great show, watching at Michael Kinyi, at Waihiga Mora, at Terry Anshabet, haha, hashtag. Kaf, that's Leo Frank, Mike is speaking, not French. Tu ne parles pas français, Mike.
Qui a dit ça?
Let's move on to the next one. Kevin _ Nava says, now the competition is getting tough, but in the game it doesn't matter how you play. What matters is the winning. Let's check if we've got something else. Well, that's what we're sampling for you now. Let's take you over to Mike, who had attempted to speak French earlier, and we have just jumped him off the chair.
It's what you crammed.
I didn't
about
cram.
French. Nancy, elle a dit que je ne parle pas français. Quel je parle?
Je pense qu'elle ne parle pas français. Tu parles français?
Oui, je parle français.
Un peu de français.
Un peu de français.
Un peu.
Un peu.
Donc, si je parlais lentement, tu comprends. Oui.
Oui.
Si je parlais très vite, tu comprends rien.
Oui,
Voilà.
je pense comme ça.
C'est comme ça. Well, we take a short break. We'll be back with the Luo Franca as Gorse Melango says it, and we'll look at the games for tonight. Ghana will be in action. Don't go away.
I did not just do that. I have 3 left legs. So I will not even, 4 left legs actually. So I'll not even attempt to dance. Terian, more important matters, SMS feedback. What do you have for us?
Tom Chege says, we have Kenyans taking the world by storm, from Obama to Lupita Nyong'o, from Origi, World Cup hero, with Belgium, Francis Nyong'o scored for Congo against Equatorial Guinea on Saturday. We need to be there with the best. Oh, and to us. Give me the yellow jersey.
And Kenya needs to qualify.
And
So
he
you want
wants
this
your
jersey?
jersey.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk. We need to check all the SMSs. Anything else you have?
Hey, our soccer analysts and fans, Waihiga and Okinyi, say hi to our beautiful Chibet. I am, of course I had to read that one. I'm eagerly waiting to see my team Ivory Coast play. I have been a supporter of the team because of the good professional midfielder and good playmaker Yaya Toure.
Right, and I've been told it's not a whip, but a fly whisk to chase away flies. I can assure you there are no flies in studio today. And on that note, we take a look at some funny videos that we've compiled for you from the weekend's action. Let's take a look at the first one. There we go. Now, Captain Asamoah Gyan is like that before the Africa Cup of Nations. Let's take a look at that one more time. Of course, Gyan known for his amazing dancing. Terian, what style of dance is that?
It looks like a twerk. But
It looks like a twerk.
I don't think that's TV appropriate.
So it's not... but somebody also said that twerking is tweeting while working. So we leave it at that.
Good one, good one.
Good. Let's take a look at the next video while Asamoah Gyan does some moves. There we go. No, that's not the next one. Let's... Good. Pellegrini, Manchester City coach, when Yaya Toure tells him he's going to AFCON, he says, no, I'm going to break your legs so that you stay in England. Let's take a look at that one more.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh my goodness. Okay, one more.
All this knows Ghana better win the AFCON.
Yes, of course. Ghanaians always known for their dancing. We have a Ghanaian in studio, two of them.
We need to challenge them to do that dance before the show ends.
So let's see what they'll be able to do at the end of the show. So Obaka, you have your brief. We're expecting some dance moves. We have the right music. We've got the DJ. We've got the set. So we better see whether Ghanaians can dance better than Kenyans can. Tariat. Good. So Terian is giving me this look of, I can't believe you dared me to dance with, so we see what Kenya does vis-a-vis Ghana, because you all know I can't dance. So do you accept that challenge?
Can I practice? Then we can do it after.
If you practice in the next 20 minutes, Mike, I think 20 minutes is sufficient.
Not even 20, 10 is enough.
10 is enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
Good.
practice.
Pick your song. CrossFit will play it for you.
Our director says they have to dance today. So while Terian laments her fate, let me take you over to the next story. And the Africa Cup of Nations enters day 3 today with a focus on Group C, now popularly known as the Group of Death.
Now, Ghana meets Senegal at 7 p.m. Kenyan time, while Algeria on South Africa from 10 p.m.
When Ghana walk out of the dugout this evening, their fans will be craning their necks to see if Captain Asamoah Gyan is part of the starting lineup against Senegal. According to the Ghana Football Association, the skipper is said to be suffering from a mild bout of malaria, which saw him admitted to hospital on Saturday evening and released on Sunday morning. The disease was caught at an early stage, and Gyan is said to be responding to treatment. In his absence, Marseille forward Andrea Ayew may be called upon, as well as Everton's Christian Atsu and Mubarak Wakaso of Celtic. Nevertheless, the odds still seem to favour the Black Stars, who have won their last 3 Africa Cup of Nations matches against the Senegalese. 3 hours later, and it will be Algeria's time to face South Africa. Algeria will want their so-called golden trio of Yassin Brahimi, Sofiane Feghouli and Islam Slimane to make a strong start to the tournament. A rejuvenated South Africa have dedicated their campaign to the late Senzo Meyiwa, their keeper and captain, who was killed in October last year. Even though the team has no big-name players from Europe, nevertheless, coach Sheikh Mashaba believes they have what it takes to make an impact. South Africa are unbeaten in 2 previous meetings with Algeria in the Africa Cup of Nations, winning 2-1 in 1996 and drawing 1-1 in the year 2000.
Well, time to take a look at Group C and Chikwekwe.
Yes, sir.
You know what Chikwekwe is?
You tell me.
Okay. After the bulletin, you might chase me out of this studio.
No, it's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Munjani.
Nyapila.
Welcome to the studio. I speak a little bit of that one as well, so don't worry.
Wow.
Well, South Africa.
Yes, sir.
Only one player coming outside the South African League.
Yes, sir.
Advantage or no advantage for them?
Both end. Both end.
I'm listening.
I think the advantage is these boys, there's so much buoyancy in the camp. The boys are excited and, the thrill of adventure, because they're not afraid of anyone, which is also testimony to what's happening to the South African League. So that's a good thing. The challenging thing is these boys might have stage fright, because we don't have as many, there are not as many players who have played in this big tournament. So that's how I look at it. But it's a good thing we have 16, I think. We have the largest composition of local based players in AFCON. So yeah.
But this is the same team that went through the qualifiers, winning away from home. 3 matches. They won in Sudan, won in Nigeria, drew in Nigeria, and won in Congo. And Congo beat Nigeria at home. So why the experience? And they won in one of the most hostile environments in Congo.
I think that's good. Actually, they've gone for 12. They're on a 12th game unbeaten run, if my facts are right.
Yes, 12 games.
So I think there's a lot of talent. There's obviously a lot of talent, new talent that's been discovered. Because Sheikhs has given room, has gotten rid of the old boys. So that's a good thing. I think South Africa has a lot of talent in the current team with those young boys.
Obaka, you believe in West African football.
Very much.
I want to go north a bit before I come to west.
Okay.
Algeria considered the top team in Africa at the moment. They are playing South Africa. I mean, what better match could we have to start this group than Algeria versus South Africa?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a good match. Algeria ranked number 1. They've always been a strong team. South Africa have had some good reviews lately, and they're also a team to watch out for. But Ghana is where my heart is. So.
We're coming to Ghana. We are coming to Ghana. I am now on. I deliberately started with that match of South Africa versus Algeria because I want us to look at that. Because for me, I'll be honest. As much as Algeria are considered one of the strong teams, I think South Africa is going to surprise them. Because look at what happened when Zambia won the Cup of Nations. They went with the spirit of 92, playing for those who perished in the 1992 plane crash. Right now, Bafana, all they're singing about is what? Senzo Meiwa. So they're saying we're playing it for Senzo. Do you think that would be a factor in their performance?
Definitely. Given the example that you've cited for the 1992 Zambian team, I think that's going to give them, extra motivation and extra energy, going into the game. So I do agree with you on that.
Obaka, Senegal is not the Senegal that we know. No big names in that Senegalese team. Advantage, no advantage for Ghana?
That's definitely an advantage for Ghana. Senegal, they haven't been doing very well lately. Ghana's team also has a lot of young players, but we have a high morale, and we always believe we can win. So that's going to be an interesting game.
Tell me, as an insider, as somebody from Ghana, you get a lot of news from home. Why the staccato move in the qualifiers? At one point, Uganda is holding you at home. At one point, Samoa is playing, is not playing. At one point, we are chasing, I don't know which boys from camp because they've come in late. What's going on there?
That's the thing with Ghanaian football. It's so unpredictable. I mean, look at the last World Cup. We had a lot of problems off the pitch, which affected the team. But now we have a new coach, even though he was just recently selected in November. The coach comes with a lot of experience, and a lot of our players also come from outside. So I hope this time there'll be unity and we won't have any small squabbles.
Chikwakwe, tell me, Senegal, what must Senegal not do in the game today?
They mustn't be intimidated, first of all, because obviously their record against, I think they have never beat Ghana before, if my facts are so. They mustn't be intimidated, and I think Senegal are actually the dark horses of this tournament, because they do have some people within their ranks who are good players. So I just think they need to stick to the plan, basic, and if Asamoah Gyan is not there, so they might have, since there is rumor that he might not make the game, he might not be fit in good time. So they must just stick to their game and take advantage of the absence of some of the key players in the Ghanaian team.
But look at who's in that group. South Africa, Algeria, Ghana. Do you have any room for experiment with these teams?
It's a tough group. It's a tough group. I think the tough times ahead of them, but they just have to dig in and just dig deep and work some magic somehow, because the pieces, they do have players who've been doing well in other leagues, so they could spring up a surprise. You never know.
Okay, Terry and Chebet, we've got something on that wall of yours. What's it?
Yes, we do. No, actually, now we want to check the SMS coming. The SMS is coming through from 22422.
Right.
Francis Maida from Mombasa says the studio set up inside there actually gives a clear picture of what's going on right away to the one who's watching the show. I like that. David Mai, you're definitely not getting a t-shirt. Is Harambee Stars there? I want Harambee Stars to take the cup. I mean, even I know that Harambee Stars is not an AFCON 2015.